All right, what's going on, everybody? We are live. We are hopping on here. We got a great topic for today. Want to get on here and chat with y'all for a little bit and talk about some things that's on our mind today, man. We know that this recovery journey is a lifelong battle, and myself been at it for a little while, and JJ been changed his life up for a while. We want to reach people who are new to this thing, man, and try to give you some a little bit of experience, strength, and hope, a little bit of wisdom, a little bit of just a word. What's going on, JJ? How you feeling today?
Man, I'm doing good, you know what I'm saying? Just once again, wanted to get on here, share some hope, you know, because reality is we could be doing a lot of things right now, but, you know, our heart and the address that our heart is toward the people, so we just want to touch some souls today, you know?
Absolutely. So what we're going to be talking about is some drastic changes that it takes to not only get into recovery, but to stay in recovery and to grow in recovery and to adapt in recovery and to do everything that it takes. So I want to step back and take a look back and talk to somebody who's early on, maybe doesn't even believe in themselves yet. And I know that starting on this journey, a huge change, just taking the dope out your body, taking yourself out the street. What's that going to do to your mind, JJ?
Well, first off, you're going to have a lot of different issues going on because reality is we're dealing with a chemical. So, you know, automatically there's going to be that chemical imbalancement that's going on. And a lot of times when people come straight off of the drug, you know, they have to deal with the emotions. I mean, first off, we got the day-to-day grind that we're dealing with, like waking up, getting that fix, and now all of a sudden I'm having to replace that. So usually when people come out of addiction, the first thing they're going to understand is I'm going to have to change everything about my routine.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. So changing things that you do on a daily basis, that's a huge drastic change. I mean, when you stop hanging out with people who you've been hanging out with your whole life, I mean, that's crazy. That's shell shock. And then you got a whole new life and you don't know what you're doing. You don't know how you're feeling. You're going through emotional withdrawals, physical withdrawals, mental withdrawals, man. It just messes you up all the way from the inside out. What can you do to adapt in that new environment?
Really, the best thing that you can do is get yourself around people. I mean, the main thing I tell everybody in recovery is, what does your support look like? If you don't got you a strong support, it's gonna be hard to maintain.
Yeah, man.
I mean, reality is you're gonna have this thought that's gonna pop in your mind. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because like I tell people all the time, you know, when we're talking about addiction, we're talking about, you know, what kind of counsel do I have? And a lot of times, if you by yourself, you're gonna have your own counsel. Yeah, and what you gotta understand is that your own counsel is screwed up right now. So you gotta make sure that you get yourself aligned with some people that got some good counsel. So a lot of times, what I tell people is, coming out of addiction, make sure you got you a strong support system. Make sure you got some people around you, you know, that are there to help you out, because when you're trying to battle this thing by yourself, it's nearly impossible.
Okay.
I mean, we all need somebody.
Yeah. So let's talk to somebody who's been clean for a little while now. Maybe somebody's been clean. They're coming up on a year, right? The big milestone, 1 year, right? What's some changes that somebody's going through at 1 year, and what do they need to kind of be aware of? How can they keep moving forward?
Okay, so what I see a lot of times is we're going to get into this first thing we call complacency.
Okay.
You know, I was going to NA meetings, if that's what your choice is, like going to meetings or whatever it is. A lot of times when people get to this year mark, a lot of times what we find ourselves doing is finding out that, you know, we get to the place where we say, I don't need these no more. Right. It's almost like a kid on training wheels.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? That kid been riding them training wheels. He's like, you know, I don't need these no more. And he just jumped right off. Well, you tell me one kid that jumped off training wheels and didn't fall.
Got a couple boo-boos along the way, huh?
Right. So the reality of it is whenever you're trying to, you know, once you get to that year mark, be mindful that, you know what I'm saying, if you're going to try to drop everything that you've been doing, you're going to get some boo-boos.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And I know for me early on, like, because I can remember having a year clean, right? I was 23, right? I can remember having a year clean because, like, I remember watching people who had like 10 or 11, 12 years clean, and they were like in their 30s, and which is like, dang, if they've done it, man, like I can do it too. Because like in the beginning, like, you know what I'm saying? Like I didn't think I could go the rest of my life without using drugs. Right. And that's not really the right mindset we want to have, but it's like being able to see somebody who's doing what we're doing, who is where we want to be, you know what I'm saying, to plant those seeds of hope inside of us, man. And I know that, so like, here's the thing, the people that I hung out with up until I had a year clean, right? And the people that I hung out with after I had a year clean were two different groups of people. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. Like, and I know for me, like I've had so many different cliques of friends since I've been in recovery, love them all to death, but people get high, man. People relapse. People we're not all growing and going down the same path together, man. I might be going this way, and my homies might be growing. They might be going this way, and neither one of us are right or wrong. But it's just about being able to adapt to that new environment. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And see, that's one thing that, you know, back to this complacency thing is that's one thing that gets you, is because it gets to the place where you've been doing good for a whole year. You don't think that it can't touch you again.
Yeah, man.
It ain't no different than anything else.
Yep.
It don't matter how long you got. All it takes is one time. Once it grabs you, it could take you.
Absolutely.
So it's always about being mindful that this thing can grab me at any time. You know, no matter how many years you got, you know. And we're talking about real life, you know. Don't make no provision for your flesh. I mean, if you get yourself in a situation where drugs are around, you might have been good abstaining from it. But if you keep yourself around there, it's just a matter of time before it grabs you.
Absolutely, man. I know that it's the nature of the beast.
Right.
You know, a lot of us think that recovery, you know what I'm saying, is obviously about using drugs and our inability to stop using drugs. But I know for me, I got in touch with addiction after I got clean, you know, with a year clean, with 2 years clean, just not knowing what life was really supposed to be about, watching and getting fixated on what everybody else was doing and not really trusting my process and not really allowing myself to grow. It was hard in the beginning, man. Right. Tell me a little bit about change in your life. So tell us a little bit about your early recovery process. When you made the change from being here in the streets to, okay, I'm not going to be in the streets anymore. I'm sure that's a drastic change, right?
Right. So, I mean, when you look at addiction, you look at the Latin word for addiction, you know, it's basically captivity.
Okay.
So, you know, people look at addiction as just being, you know, drugs, but really addiction is, you know, selling drugs. I mean, you got this God mindset where you feel like you're God, you know.
Yeah.
You got this thing where this quick money comes in, you know, the whole thought about, you know what I'm saying, when you have an issue, you go handle your issue. You know, it's just so many different layers that comes with it. So when I look at my early time of coming out, the biggest thing that I had was not going back around them same people.
Man, that's rough to do right there.
You know, because when it comes to me going around them same people, what happens is we do what we always do. We start glorifying that lifestyle that almost killed me. Yep. You know, so we start glorifying that lifestyle that got me locked up. We start glorifying that lifestyle that got my boy on a t-shirt now. Yeah, you know, but we don't think about that while we're having that conversation. Absolutely. So one of the biggest things that I found out was, you know, I had to change the network of people that I was dealing with. And I tell people this all the time. Your network is your net worth.
Yeah.
You got to look at the people that you're around. Whatever type of people
the average of the
around,
5 people you spend the most time with.
You got it. Most so definitely. when I started looking at that, you know, I didn't only just start with that. I mean, that was where I started. But then I started looking at the music I was listening to. You know, the music I was listening to had a lot to do with the emotional mindset that I had. Yep. You know, when you want to, you know, do some love, man, you put that love music on. You know, when you on the football field about to get crunked, you know what I'm saying, you throw that music on, it's going to get you crump and hyped. So, you know, music plays a lot on your emotions.
Absolutely.
So when I started changing, you know, the type of music I listened to, that began to take me to a whole nother layer. And then what I ended up doing was, you know, this whole positive affirmation. You know, I was never good at being talking positive to myself. I allowed what other people say to set my mindset. And then it got to the place where I started saying, you know what? I am somebody. I can do something with my life. I am greater. And I just started telling myself that every day. When I had a negative thought come in, I would start telling myself something positive. When I had a slip come in, I would tell myself, but at least I'm not in that lifestyle no more.
Right.
I caught myself, you know what I'm saying? So I just kept on, you know, telling myself that I could do it. First off, if you don't believe in yourself, you probably ain't gonna make it.
You out of luck right there. Right. Let me ask you this, JJ. So it's like, I know that addiction, right, it looks the same for whether you're addicted to the streets or you're addicted to drugs, and the recovery process is very similar, right? So at what point in your process did you start having dreams for yourself, right? When did you start seeing the vision start to open up? What'd that look like for you?
Well, see, with that, I think that works differently for different people. It's that first open door. It's like you digging and digging, you know what I'm saying? Some people, they dig and they automatically get to that water. For other people, you know, it might be a whole year you're digging and digging and digging. Yep. But the reality of it is I think that my vision and my mindset changed when I started seeing that something was happening for me.
How'd that happen? What happened?
So first off,
I guess what I'm looking at, was it people? Was it who you were around? Was it what you were watching? Was it what you were listening to? Did you have them dreams all along? Like, where did that hope and where did that dream come from?
Okay, so for me, it was just basically getting a job. You know what I'm saying? I'm so used to selling dope. I'm so used to being on the street. If I could just get a job. And
drastic change.
What ended up happening was I landed a job at McDonald's.
Okay.
Now, with me landing the job at McDonald's, it gave me some hope.
Yep.
But with my hope came the biggest storm ever. The biggest storm ever was the manager that I was working for was stealing money. She hired me because I had aggravated robbery, so she wanted to use me as a scapegoat.
She wanted to set you up, huh?
Right.
Man.
So the reality of it is like I said, with my biggest hope that happened, my biggest storm happened as well. So what ended up happening was I kept on fighting, and I ended up getting hooked up and getting this other job. They tried to offer me the job back when they found out it was her. I was like, nah, I don't want that job.
Yep.
You know, but I can honestly say, man, it was just a day-to-day grind.
Right.
I mean, there was days where I felt like I was on top of the world, and there was other days I was down. But I remember getting on the phone, and this guy named Pastor Cornelius Hookfan over at the Kojic Church on Innisfallen. I remember beating his phone, man. Like, I can't get through this thing. Like, I want to go to Dayton and sell dope. Like, you know what I'm saying? I know that I can't do that, but I remember getting on the highway, and when I would get on the highway, I would just start breaking down in tears. And this is back when they had the payphone. I would go to the payphone, and I would call them, and I'm like, man, I need some help. I'm struggling. You know, and then when I would talk to him, he'd be like, man, listen, you're going to have to stay strong. I know it's hard. Go home. Just go to sleep, man.
So reaching out, that was definitely, I mean, the value of that right there.
That's what I'm trying to tell. That's why I tell people, what kind of network do you got? What kind of support system do you got? Because it's going to get hard,
man.
There's going to be days where you're going to be beating your pillow. You're going to be crying. There's going to be days where you're going to be ready to quit, throw in the towel, but you got to keep on pressing no matter what. And there's going to be days where you feel like you failed. You might not have went all the way in, but you went in enough. Yeah,
man. And you know, one thing that I've learned from in my own process and like people that I've always looked up to, it's the ones that have the ability to ask for help. You know what I'm saying? The ones that have the ability to ask the right people for help. Right. You know what I'm saying? And really take in that advice and take in those suggestions, you know what I'm saying? And be able to implement that in your life, man. I'm telling you what. So, and I asked you that because I wanted to share my little belief system, my process too, you know, like I remember early on, you know, having a year clean, and then I hit 2 years clean. And of course I got the job, got a little bit better job, $8 an hour, $9 an hour, $9.50 an hour. You know what I'm saying? 2 jobs, 3 jobs. Like, and I just wanted more for myself. You know, I didn't have a family back then. At 23, 24 years old, like I didn't have a family to support. I didn't have many responsibilities. It was just me. You know what I'm saying? Selfish. I wanted more for myself. Yeah. I wanted to build a life up that I had really never even witnessed possible before. And that's what I would tell myself. Like, I'm trying to achieve a level of success that I've never even witnessed before. So the only place I was able to actually find those influences was like on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? And I remember when I first got a job at the treatment center, that was like my first big goal. I was like, I want to be a counselor. I want to, you know what I'm saying, work at the treatment center. And it's like, I did that pretty fast. And then it's like, okay, so now I'm watching guys sharing the mess, you know what I'm saying, talking with these guys in treatment, but I get a lot of downtime. So I'm watching videos, you know what I'm saying? I'm looking up to people. I'm reading different books like that. And I'm learning, man, that people like can get so much of a reward, reap the benefits of just sharing their process with other people. You know what I'm saying? And just giving hope to other people, man. And I remember telling this old cat, right? This old dude that was he was an old dude from the meetings, right? And I remember saying to him, I'm like, man, I know that I've been watching this dude on YouTube and he gets paid like $50,000 for to go and talk at different places. I was like, God, wouldn't that be sweet if we could get paid that kind of money to go and talk at different places? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's like long time ago, that seed has been planted in me, and it's not really about, and this dude, his mission and his drive wasn't about $50,000. It was about trying to help 50,000 people. You know what I'm saying? Through his experience, through his trials and tribulations and all that stuff. And through watching him grow, man, like, and he's doing it. You know what I'm saying? He's doing it. And I think that, man, for me, right, that's what it really took early on, was watching people who have been through what it was, kind of like what I've been, just started from nothing, you know what I'm saying? And then really began to work towards things that were important to you, man. And like, that's the seed that was planted in me a long time ago. Been growing ever since. So let me ask you this. I know that, let's see, in my journey, right? So when I first about 3 years clean, I started going to school, right? I said, I want to be a counselor. I want to work in a treatment center. I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to help people, right? At the same time, like, I'm going to meetings. I got a sponsor. I'm working the steps. I'm in recovery, right? I'm doing all these things that it takes to be in recovery. But like, so I entered a new phase of life, right? And it was like the real grind. You know what I'm saying? From where it was like, I went from, you know, working 2 jobs to going to school and working 2 part-time jobs. And like, I spent like 5 years or 6 years of my life in that space right there. You know what I'm saying? Tell me a little bit about like where in your process and your journey have you spent a lot of time just like putting in the work, you know what I'm saying? Waiting on these big seeds to take off. What's that like for you?
Oh, so see, this is how my life started. Like, it was in them scriptures.
Okay.
And I remember I walked down the streets with the Bible in my face.
Yep.
Like, I would walk down the streets. People would see me walking with the Bible in my face. I mean, I would go to sleep with the Bible. I'd be on the toilet with the Bible. I'd be at the table with the Bible. Like, I didn't have no education.
Right.
So, I mean, that was my go-to. You know, that's what I held on to. And I remember that, you know, I didn't care what everybody else around me was doing. But that was what I was doing. Yep. Like, I knew that if I let go of this book, then I'm stuck with my own mindset. I'm stuck with my own thoughts, my own theories, my own ideology. And that's going to take me right back to those streets. So I remember, man, like it was yesterday. I would not put that book down.
Right.
And I went back to school. I was 4 years behind because I dropped out of school. 4 years behind. And I remember that I ended up going to this program called OIC.
Okay.
It was LOC, OIC, and it was giving me an opportunity to go back and get my high school diploma. I remember going back to that school and getting hooked up with some people. Man, I had Anthony Fisher. Man, I had a few cast men that I just came around, you know, and they was there to support me.
Right. Support.
Mr. Islam, man, with that math, man, he was there, man, always telling me, man, like, get your life together, quit running around with certain people. You know,
Mr.
I
Islam
kind of
helped me get my GED too.
Man, listen, Mr. Islam, he was always there for me, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Him, Anthony Fisher, man. There's a couple cool cats, man, that just stayed on my back, man. I remember Bob Matthews. You know, I had Art Colvin. You know, Mr. Art, man, crafty, man. He does the upholstery, man.
So these dudes sound like they're like 20, 30, 40, 50 years ahead of where you are.
Oh, absolutely, man. Listen, they was the ones that came around me and they circled me. My dad, Irvin Holland, you know, he went by Chap. Man, look, these people stood beside me at my hardest times. When I was ready to buckle, they was right there to lift me up. So that's one thing I know. On my own, I couldn't be where I'm at.
Right, man.
It took me having them in my life
Absolutely.
to be anywhere. So, I mean, I'm all about support, man.
Right.
So, man, I was in that book because my own mind wasn't good enough. And
So
I had people around me.
I guess in the addiction recovery world, like I've been clean for almost 10 years, right? Which means I haven't used any drugs in like 10 years. So in your realm of recovery, you know, coming out the streets, you know what I'm saying? Like, how long would you say that you've been living this new life?
It's been 14 years off of mental health medication, 14
Wow.
years off these streets, 14 years off of that rah-rah drama.
Yeah.
You know, honestly, I remember probably like 2 years in, I was going to go up to the school and get in this big fight.
2 years in?
Yep, 2 years in my recovery from these streets, man. I was about to go up to the school and get in this fight. And on the way up there, a situation had turned the whole thing. So I know that wasn't by accident. So there was times where I could have threw it all away, but yet something came and intervened for me. So, you know, but yeah, 14 years. 14
So that's
years.
a long ride right there, right? And I look back. So how old are you now?
I'm 34.
34. So you were 20?
Yep.
Damn, that's okay, man. I didn't even know that about you. That's awesome, man. That's what's up. So it's like, so let me ask you this, right? So we talking about drastic changes in recovery. With where you're at in your life right now, what's the drastic change that you need to make right now to take you to the next level? What is it?
So the drastic change that I've been looking at, and I've been talking to a lot of people about this, is that self-inventory. Like every day, like to the point that, you know, I'm getting to the place where I can't do nothing about what's going on in the world or around me. I mean, I can say stuff, but the biggest change that I can do is a change within myself.
Okay.
The way that people respond to me, I can't change how you're going to respond to me. I can influence how you're going to respond to me, but I can't change how you're going to respond to me. But I can change the way that I respond to how you respond to me.
All right.
So it's all about learning how to control me
Right.
and stop trying to control everything around me.
Right. Okay. So what is that change going to look like on the inside for you?
So that change on the inside for me is going to be an obsession with making sure that I'm quick to listen and slow to speak.
All right, man. You heard it right there. We got to hold him accountable to that stuff. That's good stuff. I mean, that's, you know what I'm saying? Self-awareness, man, and knowing yourself is so like undervalued, I guess, today, because like, you know, everybody is, you know, we're always, you know, what's everybody else doing? It's like, to know me, to know you, you know what I'm saying? Like that's what's up right there. That's the hit. So, and I would say for me, man, like, cause and I've been saying this for a little while, like I know there's a season of change that's coming. You know what I'm saying? I can feel it, you know, and it's because I have got my heart, man, and my mind, right? Not just my mind too, is being pulled in so many different places right now. And like, I'm wanting to do some new things, some things that I've never done before. And I know that the only way I'm going to be able to do that is to sacrifice. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm going to have to give up something to be able to create some space to go down this new path that I feel called to go down. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like, it's different because I have that belief system ingrained in me that I know that sacrifice is a secret to success. You know what I'm saying? I know that sacrifice and patience and being able to just persevere through all the ups and the downs and, you know what I'm saying, the wins and the losses, no matter what, to get me to wherever it is that I'm supposed to be. It's going to be a rough place. It's going to be a rough ride. Right. You know what I'm saying? And the difference is today, right, is that it's not just Eric today. You know what I'm saying? There's little mini me's running around, you know what I'm saying? And like bills to pay and like responsibilities and stuff like that. So I know for me, man, I know that the sacrifice that I'm going to be making, or that the next one that's coming, you know what I'm saying, is going to be a financial sacrifice, and it's going to be an investment in myself. It's going to be an investment in my future, and it's going to be a ride. But best believe I got the people that I need on my side, right,
support,
coaching me through this process, because I'm you know what I'm saying, like I'm the type of person, man, if I get an idea, I'll run with it, right? And if I don't bounce these ideas off other people, it don't matter how long I've been clean, how long I've been in recovery, if I don't bounce these ideas off somebody, I will ruin my life with 10 years clean without getting high. Right. Last thing I want to do, man.
There we go. We got that sacrifice of financials. Hold them accountable.
Quit spending all this money like crazy. But you know what, man? Like, I just know this right here. I know that life is too short. You know what I'm saying? And I know that we all live once. And I know that we all have the ability, man, to do things that we've never even dreamed were possible. Right. So if I can leave a message with anybody about the drastic changes that must be made in recovery, man, it's trust yourself. You know what I'm saying? Trust yourself, believe in yourself. Because I'm telling you what, when I first got clean, they say, Eric, what you want out of your recovery? I said, I want a job and I want to get my GED, right? That was it. I could not think past that. I could not think about getting a better job or starting a family or actually having a car, you know what I'm saying, or having my own house or having money in the bank. I couldn't even fathom going to the gas station, pulling up at the pump, sliding the card, filling the tank up and rolling. You know what I'm saying? Because I had a broke mentality when I first got clean. I had never seen somebody who had a rich mindset or somebody who had like a futuristic mindset. Man, I'm telling you what, all this drive and this determination that I have in me today is a direct result of the influences that I've put around me and the influences that I've allowed come to my mind, man. And that's why I tell people all the time, I said, look, right, this is going to be a ride. It's going to hurt, right? You're going to succeed. You're going to fail. For every one step you take forward, you're going to get 2 punches right in the face. You got to be able to roll with it, man. And you just got to be able to take it and keep moving forward, man. So close them up, JJ. What's on your mind that you want to share with folks as they go through their drastic changes in recovery? What can they do to help stay on the right path no matter what?
Well, I would say this. First off, you need to understand that life, I'm going to say my guy said it best. Life is like a box of chocolates.
Right.
You never know what you're going to get.
You never know.
That's clear, man. Like, we got to understand, man, that this life that we're going to go through is going to be like a roller coaster. It's going to be like riding the waves. You know, sometimes you're going to find that wave and you're going to land it and you're going to ride it just right. And then there's going to be other times where you feel like you're drowning.
Yep.
So the reality of it is this, that you don't quit. I mean, if I could tell anybody anything right now, it's please don't quit.
Right, man.
Don't quit, man. Pick up that phone. Call. If you need the number, it's 937-398-4544. But whatever you do, don't quit. Pick up the phone. Look, you pick up the phone while you in your mess. Pick up the phone while you ain't in the mess.
That's right.
It doesn't matter. That's why I try to tell people, man. The reality of it is we got to get people around us that we understand we can talk to, and they not going to judge us for what's going on. Like, I'm not going to judge you for the thoughts that you're having, because more than likely I already had those thoughts. I'm not going to judge you for the way you're feeling, because more than likely I already felt those same feelings, and I might still be feeling them same feelings. So the reality of it is we just need to get to the place where we can talk to somebody so we don't make choices off of ourselves, because really that's what happens. We end up making these choices based off of an influence or a spontaneous thought, rather than allowing ourselves to really go through the situation and write it out.
There it is, man. That's the hit. Think before you act, right? Be strategic. Think right. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in today, man. I know that this was kind of a wing it style tonight. I've got a couple people who I'm reaching out to that we're going to be doing some lives with this coming week. So we appreciate the love. We appreciate the support. We appreciate the comments, the likes, the shares, because we want to be able to help people, man. Like, we've got a position, we've got some experience that we want to give back. So, and that's what we're here for. So thanks for tuning in. We'll see y'all next time. Peace out.